Today, we're going to talk about if you've ever had a trainer, if you ever had a health coach, if you ever known anybody who was getting some personal training services, and have they ever told you about a trainer being inappropriate? Have they ever talked about clients getting too close to the trainer or the trainer getting too close to clients? If that was you, if you had a coach or a trainer and they were trying to get too close to you personally, or you wanted to date them, or you wanted to get close to them personally, but you didn't know how to do it. How would you handle that situation, or how did you handle the situation? So today, that's what we're going to talk about, guys. So in the comments, please put how you would handle the situation if a trainer came on to you, perhaps, that was training you, or if you wanted to talk to a trainer outside of the gym, how would you handle that as well? All right. So I got a letter from a guy, and I'm gonna just sum it up a little bit for you guys. A young man's been a personal trainer for about 8 years. He's 30 years old, right? So something he did right out of college. He became a trainer so that he could help people lose weight, get into the best shape of their lives, and just live healthier, more fulfilling lives, okay? He works at a personal training studio and a big box gym, so he goes between the two. He has clients at the personal training studio that are referred to him, and then he can kind of pick through and sift through. And then at the big box gym, he doesn't have a choice whether or not he works with certain clients. Like whatever clients they put on his book, on his schedule, he has to work with them, okay? So lately, he said over the last couple months, because they have his personal phone number and they have an email to him, because obviously there's times that they have things going on and they just want to talk to him. Hey, how do I handle this wedding? Hey, how do I handle this vacation? I'm not feeling the best mentally this week. How do I handle that and still work out and try to stay on track? Because of that, they contact him all times a day, right? So he said lately, it's been on late nights and weekends that some of his clients have been contacting him, and they're talking about things other than their health and fitness, right? They might compliment him on how attractive he is, talk about their last session or how they really enjoyed their time. And he says a lot of times their sessions they're going longer, they're going over their time because they want to sit and talk to him, right? So he feels as though he's under some pressure because he doesn't know how to talk to these clients and let them know that this is making him a little bit uncomfortable, and or that he doesn't mix business with pleasure. But he does worry about losing clients. He does worry about losing his job at the big box gym as well. So he asks, is this natural for young ladies or women to become attracted to their trainers? And we also know that obviously some men have female trainers, so it's not just specific. But in this case, he is a male and these are females. So is this normal? And is it something that he has to watch out for from now on? And then how does he deal with it moving forward? Because he wants to really work with people for a really long time. Health and fitness is his passion. So he doesn't want to get turned off by, these personal situations that may come up, that may arise. So he just wants to try to get a handle on it and see what he can do moving forward. All right. So again, guys, if this is your trainer and you think he's cute, for my ladies, or for my guys, man, if you're getting trained by a female coach and you think she's attractive and you think you guys would have a connection, what do you say? What do you do? Do you do something about it? Do you try to find them on social media? Do you just let it go because you have a professional relationship? What happens here? All right. Good topic for today. Now, guys, this is Lunchtime Logic. This is your guy, Coach Mark. Now, Lunchtime Logic, guys, I eat lunch. Hopefully you're somewhere eating lunch. It's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. We eat lunch together because a lot of times conversations go down a bit easier when we have some food in front of us, right? Not only that, nutrition is very, very important. And the fact that it's lunchtime, most of us should be consuming something right now. I'm a big believer that we should be consuming the bulk of our calories during the middle of the day, right? That's our busiest period. So I have lunch. Today, 5 ounces of lean ground turkey. Let's see, a can of tuna, which is 3 ounces, 1 boiled egg, a cup of green peas, and then 5 ounces of chicken breast. All right. So that is my bowl today. Looks a little, mangled up. Now, a lot of times people will say, how do you eat that combination together? I can never eat that combination together. You don't have to. Okay. You can spread it out on a plate, whatever makes you feel better. You can use 2 plates. What you find out is when your motive is to eat healthy and to eat whole natural foods, and stay up on your vegetables and your fruit. You have to set aside your need for certain combos or certain combos that we've gotten used to, or certain combos we've been taught are the only way to go. Okay. So long time ago, I had to make the decision, man. Every bowl isn't going to look pretty. Every bowl isn't going to be traditional. You know what I mean? Every combination isn't going to be traditional. But when it fits them macros, baby, and you start to see results, you got to pick your poison. You understand? So I hope everybody's having a great lunch and they found something sound to eat, okay? Now, for this young man who's having struggles as a trainer, I want to talk to him a little bit. He's younger. He's 30 years old. 30 years old is, you know, it's funny. When you're 30, you think 30's old. When you're 45, you wish you could do 30 over, right? Most of us. So, young man, 30 years old is kind of young, right? But that's a good thing, bro. And man, I love the internet for this very reason. You know, YouTube, social media, is because the 30-year-olds can connect with the 50-year-olds, right? And we can give wisdom to a 30-year-old kid on a different coast or in a different country, and maybe help him from making some lifelong mistakes or life-altering mistakes, perhaps, right? So it's just great in that regard. So anytime I get a chance to pour into a younger male or a younger female, man, I love it because, you know, there was a time where we couldn't get in touch with these people. All we had was who was available to us locally. So I think it's really good for that. Now, 30 years old, brother, I was in your position, okay? Young trainer, boot camp instructor, right? Worked at a couple different gyms, a couple different studios, right? Trained people personally, sometimes group fitness as well. Now, technology wasn't the same 18 years ago for me, but technology did exist. And people, you know, they got in touch with you how they could. So right now, obviously, you're getting in touch with people on a daily, and that's really, really good, man, because communication is what is lacking a lot of times with a coach, a trainer, and their client. There's a lack of communication, right? So when you play a sport, you see your coach every single day, right? Because you have practice or a game. In the fitness world, a lot of times, you only see that coach twice a week, okay? So it's hard for that coach to keep a pulse, you know what I mean? A real good barometer, to have a real good barometer of what's going on with you day to day, because things change, okay? Now, let's start from the top. 30 years old, bro, I think you picked a great profession. There's 8.9 billion people in the world. Every single one of them have to stay healthy to stay alive. Every single one of them. Health and fitness is very important. They will try to tell you that the health and fitness arena is crowded. Oh, everybody's a fitness influencer. Oh, everybody's a trainer. The truth is, bro, everybody's not. Most people aren't. So for the 8.9 billion people in the world, they don't even have 1 million people to look to for advice, for coaching. So you got into a very, very, very rewarding and fulfilling career. Now, with that comes different challenges, but any career you would have got into would come with challenges, bro. It's gonna be that. I mean, if you were a pilot, if you got in the Navy, if you became a congressman, it wouldn't matter. A lawn care service, you're gonna have some challenges, and I want you to remember that, because we will sometimes think that it's the career we chose that presents all the challenges, not realizing every job, every career, every business has some challenges, bro. It's gonna be that. It comes down to how we handle them. So you have female clients, and what I need you to understand about, well, let's start here. You have a personal studio that you work out of and a big box gym as well. I would hope that you would move to a personal studio at some point, just my opinion, because you have a lot more flexibility with who you train and who you coach. And in your later years, you will see that it's very important. Now, if you want to still pour back into your community, bro, just hold outdoor classes, group fitness classes. You can go teach a group fitness class and just tell the big box gym, hey, I'm not going to charge you guys. I just want to come in for an hour or two every week and just pour into the members and whatnot. Let them come in for free and I'll just teach them. If you feel like you still want to lend something to the community. But as far as the further on you move, you will realize that you want to be a little bit more selective with your clients. Just being honest with you, bro. Now, the biggest difference between the two outfits is that I'm pretty sure you're not pressed to take walk-ins in the personal studio, right? Whereas in a big box gym, bro, you got to take who you can get. So it could be a 90-year-old lady who's never lifted weights in her life, and it could be a 19-year-old dude who played football in high school, right? So, and everybody in between. And so it does teach you very quickly to be well-rounded and be able to deal with different type of clientele. But at the same time, you don't get to choose them. So you don't know who's serious, who's not serious, what levels they're on, because you might get to a point where you only want to coach people at a certain level, right? You might only want to coach beginners, right? Everybody doesn't have to be advanced. So people who are advanced already, you might not want to deal with them, perhaps, for whatever reason, right? Okay. So half of your client base, I would imagine, comes from the big box gym, and you did not pick them. But let me tell you something, young brother. They picked you. See, what I used to think was it was kind of random how they selected, the trainers. People just walk in, they just divvy them out. They just divvy them out evenly. And then, as I started to work with some of the clients, they would say, oh, I've seen you in here helping people. I asked for you. Oh, that's very flattering. And I used to be flattered at first. And I still think it is flattering to a certain degree. But a lot of times, if they're the opposite sex, or even it can happen with the same sex, they're signing up for training sessions to get close to you. It just is what it is. Now, without malicious intent too, because I think that we always look at someone who's somebody who's taking steps towards getting close to someone as if like it's creepy in nature. It doesn't have to be creepy. They just like you. And as human beings, we are wired to like other human beings. That's how we procreate, right? Now, you didn't say anything about this, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you're in pretty good shape, sir. I'm going to say that you're in pretty good shape. I'm also going to say it's a good chance that a lot of your female clientele is just a tiny bit older. Tiny bit older. And bro, if you're in good shape, normally you take good care of yourself. You're not going to meet too many people at the gym who focus on their health and fitness, but then don't take good care of themselves, like self-care. Nails, hair, clothes, hygiene, things like that. So if you looks maxing, my boy, and you got the body game, women are going to be attracted, which I'm sure you know that, and you understand what comes with it. But when a woman or a person sees you at the gym constantly, because every time they see you, you're at the gym. Every time they see you, you're helping someone get better. That's very attractive. That's something that people rarely talk about when it comes to trainers and coaches. A lot of times people are very attracted to the quality of a human being who gives of themselves to make someone else better. So because you're exhibiting those qualities every time they see you, and I'm quite sure you're dressed well, your hygiene is on point, your hair is probably done a certain way, that's very attractive to the females, okay? That's before you start training them. So, bro, I would imagine, because this is what we do with attractive people. As soon as we start working with them, we know they're attractive. Most people could say, I would sleep with them or I wouldn't. Most of the time, we do that assessment very early. Now, you have women that say that they don't do that, and that's fine. But they still know who they like and who they wouldn't. So even if it's, oh, I would go on a date with him or I wouldn't. With men, normally we start with who we would sleep with and who we would not. That's normally what we do, right? So these women, bro, when they sign up to work with you, they already know if they would possibly date you or not, right? Then they also know if they're in a position to date or not, meaning what's their status? Are they married? Are they single? Newly divorced? Celibate? Whatever they are, they know if they're open to dating. And they've determined, would they be open to dating you or not? Now you, on the other hand, if you're really determined to be a skilled and worthy trainer or coach, you have been able to compartmentalize how you feel about someone's looks as soon as you meet them. So normally this is how it goes in your mind. Oh, she's very attractive. I probably would sleep with her, but I'm very focused on my profession, and I wouldn't cross those lines. I don't want to become that guy, and I don't want that reputation to follow me. So you compartmentalize it and throw it away really quick, okay? So this is what ends up happening, brother. Women like attention. They like attention, okay? They like when you ask them questions. They like when you listen. They like when you take interest in what's going on with them. So when you start to coach them, train them, educate them, you guys develop a relationship. Okay? Now it's a working relationship, but it's a relationship nonetheless. And in this relationship, again, you listen. You're punctual. Your hygiene's right. You're attentive, right? You show compassion. You show empathy, right? And then you educate them and show them how to get better. And as time goes on, they're getting better with your help. So you guys establish a connection because you're being a good human being, brother. Human beings are attracted to other good human beings. Even if they're not a good human being, they're attracted to good human beings. A lot of these young ladies that you're talking about have not had someone pay attention to them in a long time, especially if they were overweight. Because with the extra body fat, bro, comes insecurity, comes loneliness, depression, just because they're not going out, just not being around people. They may not be dating. They may not have a really active sex life. So what you're doing is providing them with some feelings that they haven't had in a long time, a lot of them, right? Now, what you also have is married women. And you would think, oh, they're pretty safe. They're married. But everyone doesn't take their vows as seriously as everyone else, okay? And what we see is a lot of women who have gone through life, you know, like I said, put on extra pounds, got out of shape, living unhealthy, right? They've had a serious disconnect with their husband. So when they come to you and you start helping them, and as time goes on, again, empathetic, sympathetic, attentive, you listen, you're punctual, you're there, you show up for them, all these things. If they haven't repaired things in their marriage, now you're looking like a pretty good option. You know, so I don't know that you are able to, unless you stop training females, I don't know that you can avoid these situations. Because most people are going to come to you in worse shape than when they will leave you. You understand? I'm sure you've seen some people make some amazing transformations. And man, mentally, emotionally, a lot of them make a huge, huge turnaround. Huge turnaround. And I trained many, many females who went from, I hate how I look in the mirror, to now I'm on dating apps and I'm getting messaged every day. So they're changing, brother. They change. And that's what you're there to do. You're there to change them. So I just wanted you to understand that, you know, in this field, brother, especially if you keep yourself together, I don't know that this stops at this rate. It's just one of those things. Because it's very, very hard for people, human beings, to not be attracted to the person who took them out their worst and helped them get to their best. Does that make sense? So the cycle continues, brother. Now, what can you do about it? Because you said you don't want to take advantage of people during a vulnerable time of transformation. And that's very admirable of you. Because people do become vulnerable, you know, it can get lonely. I mean, depending on who your clients are hanging around when they start their journey, you and I both know you gotta shed some fat, bro. And we're not talking body fat, right? So a lot of people they might have hung around before, they can't hang around now because of the habits and the triggers associated. Okay. So what they end up doing is creating new schools. And so, you know, as they draw close to you, you start to look like a pretty good option. So what do we do about it? Now, you said some of them are texting you late and you're having conversations into the evening. And then the conversations turn, you know, they turn personal. Right, you have to establish a time of day that you will answer any communication from your clients. I understand why you wanted to make yourself available 24/7, but let's be clear about something. What goes on between 8 and 8 that we need to know about? What goes on between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. the next day that we need to know about before 8 a.m.? Most of the time, nothing. Now, every once in a while, somebody will call you and say, hey, coach, I'm feeling real weak right now. It's 10:30. I really want some dessert. I really want to pour myself a drink. Man, I can't sleep. I'm not gonna be able to get up for my class tomorrow. But bro, that's not the norm. That's not the norm. So with your new and existing clients, I would establish a time that you are no longer answering any communication. And bro, you got to stay rigid with it, whatever that might be. 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever that might be. But bro, you know, because after 8 o'clock, bro, we're relaxed. We're in relaxed mode. You know, what's funny is, man, we don't think about this too much, but most humans have sex between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. So let's just say you're dealing with a divorcee. That was her time to be intimate, bro. That was her time to have intimate conversation. That was her time to go on dates. So it's just like anything else, bro. We're triggered that we're wired to have lunch at 12, right? So those personal feelings, intimate conversations are going to want to arise at that time of day. So I would set that boundary, and the second part of that is, bro, you got to stick to it. And bro, I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. You have to be stiff on your boundaries, just like you would do with your meal plan, just like you do with your workouts, bro. Just like you do with your bedtime. Be rigid with it. So you're having a conversation with somebody that started at 7, you gotta let them know, getting close to 8, hey, 8 o'clock, man, I shut the conversations down. So just want to let you know, if this keeps running longer, I'm going to have to get with you tomorrow. Okay? Now, also, a lot of people in the comments are going to say, you should talk to your bosses, right? The owner of the studio, owner of the gym, and tell them that a couple of these people are trying to holler at you. Now, that could work for you. What I see happening is them saying, do you feel uncomfortable? Do you feel like they're harassing you? And when you say no, because you're not being harassed, you're just being flirted with. When you're not being harassed, bro, they're going to say, well, we can't do anything about people being nice to you. And they don't want to lose clientele just because you're a tad bit, you know. And if you're attractive, bro, it's kind of expected that you're going to have people try to hit on you, okay? I don't know that that would work too well, if being honest. Now, also what I would do during the training sessions, I would have boundaries on the time limits as well, because, again, bro, if you don't put a boundary to it, it's like anything else. Stuff goes sideways, bro, if you don't have a boundary. If you don't have a fence put up, there's no boundary. So if the session is 40 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, if it's an hour and 15 minutes, hey, let them know in the beginning, hey, when this timer goes off, I gotta go, okay? A little tough to do at first, but they will get over it. People always adjust to boundaries. People don't have problems adjusting to boundaries. They don't, because they do it for their job. They do it for their mortgage payment. They do it for the meetings that they have to have with their boss. They have no problem doing it for these situations. So they don't really have a problem with it with you. It's, are you going to enforce it or not? Thirdly, bro, when you're having these in-person sessions, and even, you know, when you're talking to them through, you know, through communication, whatever mode of communication you use, keep it short and simple, man. No personal information. Oh, you know, because I know what it is. Oh, yeah, I love sweet potatoes too. Oh, yeah, I used to be like that. Good personal, those are good, I'd say, I don't want to say secrets, but those are pretty good personal things you can share with other people, right? But personal things I wouldn't share is anything outside of health and fitness. So, oh, I used to live out there when I was younger. Oh, I used to date a girl and she used to go to SeaWorld all the time. Oh, I always wanted to have children. Things like that. Cut it short, bro. Because when we have personal conversations with people, people become personal with us. And then they start thinking, oh, well, I wonder if he would like to go get coffee at some point. But if you're not talking to him about those personal items at all, it cuts down the chance that that other person would even think you would be interested. You understand? Now, if it's getting to a point where you feel like somebody is low-key harassing you, or you feel super uncomfortable working with them, then obviously you have to do something about that and get rid of that client. It is what it is. Give them to another trainer, okay? You didn't say that any of that's going on. It's just that they're being flirtatious, and you're trying to figure out how to move on and navigate and still train these people. Keep the personal conversations to a minimum. Establish a boundary and a time that you will accept and respond to communication in the evening. And you have to stick to it. And the same boundary, the same concept of boundaries applies for your training sessions. When the training session is over, it's over, bro. I don't care if you don't have a client for the next 20 minutes, or if you don't have anybody all day, or if you like talking to that person, right? And we hate to cut people off and act like we don't care what's going on with them, but sometimes, hey, I gotta go. All it takes is 2 or 3 times. All it takes is 2 or 3 times. Your clients will start to say, hey, this session is over at 3 o'clock, and when 3 o'clock hits, he's gonna be gone. And I think you'll start to see a decrease in the personal conversations and people toting the line and not knowing where the boundaries at. But it starts with you, bro. I'll be honest with you. You're not doing anything wrong. You just were unaware that it was going to turn into this. And again, bro, that's not saying nobody's going to ask you out. because all the things we discussed before, people are still going to be attracted to you. They're still going to be attracted to you, bro. That's going to happen. But it's not. But if we don't lead them on, if we don't give them extra rope, right? Normally it doesn't go too far. All right. So I think you did good by asking the question. And you know, we get this stigma or this tag that all coaches and trainers sleep with their clients. And bro, listen. In younger days, there were things that I would do that I would never do now, right? So it seems like you're on that path, and that's a great path to be on, bro. There's 8.9 billion people in the world. You do not need to date your clients. Now, if you train someone and they're done working with you and it's 3, 4, 6 months later, that's different, okay? But while you're training them, not a good idea. And it builds you up as a man, bro, because you learn restraint very quickly. Because it's very hard to be around an attractive woman 2 and 3 times a week, or an attractive male, whoever you date, and not, you know, want to interact with them. You know what I'm saying? But you're doing a good job, bro. And, you know, again, let's lose that tag of every trainer, every coach sleeps with their clients. All right? So that was a good one. So guys, if you have a submission like this one, and you have some details for me, and you like a story, and you have a question, right, and you would like to see everybody weigh in on it, please email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. That is coachmark with a C, 22@gmail.com. I will read your submission. I will keep your name and place anonymous, and we will get to it so that people can give you advice on your situation. All right? So this is Lunchtime Logic. I am your guy, Coach Mark. It is a Friday, so I will see you guys on Monday. All right? Come back in, have some lunch with me, and talk a little bit of this and that.